Hello everyone, Buck Mayers here again. Today's lesson is going to be about how your sequence in your golf swing affects your path and how the Prozone is going to help you to that. We're going to use a hula hoop as a good visual and a good sensation to feel how the club and your body responds in the proper order going back. So we're going to do the same thing that we talked about before. When you get into your setup, we're going to get a fist away from the Prozone. The hula hoop is going to be at an angle that's just behind your shoulder blades or at a tilted inclined plane. So once you do that, you're going to turn your thumb backwards. And let's talk about what we should do first, and then we'll talk about what we shouldn't do second. So my goal is to try to get this circle to move in the proper order and stay on that same circle throughout the backswing. So what I see a lot of today is, even though this would be the correct feel of the circle, this is what I see a lot of, that old one-piece takeaway thought. So what happens is your hips and your shoulders and your arms all move at the same time, and you can see how that affects the circle or the sequence to the swing. So we want to make sure. Some players sometimes go out. Well, you can't do that with the horizontal bar. So you're going to stay in sequence. We're going to try to keep the same circle going back. As we keep going, our chest and our hips and our arms will keep rotating. Then when we come down to do the proper sequence, you start from the ground to feel how your arms and your hands actually work back on this circle. So it stays in that circle. You get to impact here. You'll turn your thumbs back the other way. You want to exit back and feel the same circle back the other way. Now again, if you do it incorrectly, let's say that you go too far inside this way. Your hips and your shoulders are over rotating. What happens is the club is going on a too flat or a round swing plane. And typically what will happen when I see somebody gets too far around the club behind them, to get the club back, they have to circle back this way, and then they're going to run into the vertical plane bars or the horizontal bars. So that's really important to understand how the sequence of the backswing affects the path of the club. And I do this with my students quite a bit to get them to feel how the circle moves in space and how their body responds to that. Your hand plane is very influential to the club head plane. If the handle of the club moves too far away or too far in, again, there's a lot of compensations back to the ball, and that's what we want to avoid. So the biggest flaw is typically is coming over the plane. You won't be able to do that here, or sometimes you'll see even with a better player that they actually move this way. So the circle changes more from an inside path because their hips and their chest and their spine are moving this way. Well, you'll run into the bar again. So again, work on feeling and sensing how the circle moves in space this way in that proper order. And then as you get better, you can actually just grow the circle. Okay? So that's sequence to path.